air. So a lot of what you see is actually not even reaching the ground yet. We've got to saturate the atmosphere. Of course, the dry air, the cold air, you really can feel it. You need extra Vaseline, extra moisturizer for your skin because of the dry air. So the moisture is having to kind of overcompensate to kind of moisten up the atmosphere to get things going, but it will start across the entire area hour by hour from south to north. So you can see that moisture kind of progressing from West Virginia as well as Virginia, and that will continue to fill in later on this afternoon and into this evening. Most of the snow will actually fall overnight tonight. So good news is it's a holiday weekend, a long holiday weekend. Folks will be returning back to work and school tomorrow. Likely a few delays across parts of the Delaware Valley as we kind of get our bearings with what happens overnight tonight and first thing for your Tuesday morning. But this isn't a blockbuster snowfall expected whatsoever. We're talking a couple of inches before all is said and done, pretty much area wide, but more mixing on the end of the system down the shore will kind of cut the snowfall totals there.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a very nice, pleasant snowfall. When you look at Ultimate Doppler and you look at the whole area along the Appalachians, this is just this is what we call meteorologically an overrunning situation. You have very cold air in place, temperatures are still stuck in the 20s, and then you have this disturbance that's moving slowly and pushing this moisture toward us. So it's just going to be a really nice snowfall. There's not going to be any wind with this. We don't have to worry about blowing and drifting snow or poor visibility. Now, if it's coming down steady and it's during the overnight, that could impact visibility. But other than that, there's not going to be any wind component that's going to be a problem. The National Weather Service has issued a winter weather advisory. It starts tonight at 7 p.m. and it goes through tomorrow afternoon at 1. And you can see they've now even included our shore points, which is interesting because there could be a little mixing, maybe a little freezing rain or sleet through South Jersey and Delaware. So we would be careful for that area as well and keeping an eye on potential snow. But it is going to be cold enough for at least 1 to 3 inches of snow and some locally higher amounts expected with this. But once again, it's not a nor'easter. It's just light snow that's coming in on a disturbance. And you can see 2, 3, even as much as 4 inches of snow out of this. So as we go hour by hour, you just see that.
And just look at the real estate.
Yeah,
I mean, Kathy, we're talking winter, some type of winter storm alert or warning or advisory posted all the way from New England down to the Gulf Coast. So this system has the moisture and it has the cold air all the way toward the Gulf. So, I mean, when you're talking freezing rain concerns in South Texas near Houston, as well as into parts of Louisiana, you know that the cold air is in place with this system. And take a look. You've put that fuchsia color on. That is where we have winter storm warning. So you can see winter storm warning stretching all the way from western Maryland through the Virginias into the deep south. We have winter storm warnings in parts of southeast Texas. And, you know, I used to live in East Texas. They don't have the equipment to deal with the winter weather. So, I mean, you know, a little bit of moisture that's in the frozen form there could shut down things for a day or two, or as we've seen even during the pandemic, remember parts of Texas had that ice storm and it just crippled the entire grid there, the power grid, for a week or more. And it was just very terrifying. So we're not anticipating anything like that here. You know, it's going to be that light powdery snow. Temperatures are cold enough, not great for making having snowball fights, unfortunately, but kind of easy to maybe just sweep your stoop off when you wake up first thing tomorrow morning dealing with some of that snow. Now, you may need more than a broom in some spots, so you might have to get out some of that ice melt as well, watching the sidewalks and whatnot.
That's a good idea too, because you had mentioned to me I've got to get some snow melt out. So tonight might be a good idea, or get out there today after work, or if you're off today, and just sprinkle a little bit of the salt out before the snow falls, and that's good. Then tomorrow just clean it up. It shouldn't be difficult. Shovel, easy cleanup tomorrow, but nothing significant to worry about. I did hear today that some areas plows won't come out unless there's 4 inches, and many locations there won't be 4 inches.
Yeah, it's not a big storm, not a big snowfall accumulation out of this particular one.
But it's exciting.
Yeah, because we haven't had it.
Yeah.
We're trying to put an end to the snow drought. We were just talking, it's been like 715 days since we've had at least an inch of snow in Philadelphia. So we're trying to put an end to that with this system overnight tonight. So let's watch how things play out hour by hour.
And you see, Scott, I mean, it's just some light snow showers until the evening, and then you can go through and see that it pretty much the heaviest falls during the overnight. So we're talking about temperatures cold enough, as Scott mentioned, we're in the upper 20s. Accumulation generally 1 to 3 inches everywhere, and some locally higher amounts. And some rain or an icy mix will occur in South Jersey and Delaware, and that will be especially tomorrow morning. So that's something that we have to watch out for. And here's a look at your snowfall totals. You can see lesser accumulation down the shore, a higher probability of mixing, that 1 to 3 interior South Jersey, and then that 2 to 4, Philly a couple inches, right? And then that 4 would be in the higher terrain as you go farther north and west.
Yeah, so I mean, we're kind of splitting hairs here, but 2 inches, 4 inches, it's still going to be a nice little welcome snow for a lot of folks because we've been dealing with the deficit. So, and we're finally not talking about 2 to 4 inches of rain like we were this time last week.
Yeah,
so a lot of folks
right?
dealing with the flooding, absolutely. So finally looking at a system that the majority of the precipitation will be frozen. So as far as what we're watching, you can see we do have all of those advisories and warnings stretching to the south of us, but we are not in a winter storm warning. We are just in a winter weather advisory. So that just kind of tells us that we're expecting lesser amounts of rainfall as far as what to expect in the Delaware Valley too. But once again, I would label this as pretty much just going to be kind of a nuisance system. So we're not talking about blockbuster totals, just those small snowflakes that we get when we have the very dry air that we've been talking about. So as far as those snowflakes, we have all types of snowflakes depending on the way they form and the way they fall into what type of air they fall into.
Yeah, and this is awesome because we're going to be right in that sweet spot of that fluffy snow, as you said. We'll be between 25 and 32 degrees, and you get those thin plates and also the dendrites, so it's those really pretty snowflakes, and they'll be small. They'll be on the smaller side. They're not going to be those big, plump, juicy flakes. But it is interesting because as it gets colder, you can see 21 to 25, which some areas will be an overnight. You get more of the needles, which we don't really see too much of. 14 to 21, you get the hollow columns, and then you get these pretty stellar plates when you get colder in the 10 to 14 degree range, and then back to those dendrites. But definitely different flakes depending on the temperature.
Yeah, lots of different flakes out there for sure.
Present company excluded. But it is interesting to see, the temperature, it's determined by the temperature.
Yeah.
So let's look at Tuesday morning's commute because it's going to be different depending on where you live.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we're talking about light snow likely still occurring north and west suburbs. This is as you move into Montgomery County, Bucks County, sections of Berks County. The snow will be ending from, I would say, west to east during the day tomorrow as this storm system kind of pulls away. So once again, we're looking at the impacts on your stepping outdoors, the sidewalk. So just be mindful of that. You'll want to allow a little extra time to kind of get things situated. Of course, warming up your car, you'll probably have to dust off the snow. If you don't park it in a garage, of course, you'll be dealing with that first thing Tuesday morning, which we haven't had to do in quite some time. So folks are going to be getting their bearings, getting reacclimated, if you will, to a 2 to 4 inch snowfall event. It's not a lot of snow, but we just haven't had it in quite a while. So it's going to take time to kind of get our bearings and just kind of get resituated. But we're looking at maybe a little bit of leftover rain or sleet areas, I-95 south and east. Temperatures will be hovering right around freezing really for most of the day on your Tuesday as we kind of brace for some of the coldest air so far this season. And we're going to be in the deep chill. This isn't even the coldest air that we've seen yet. And we talked a little bit about this last week, how we were like, we need the Arctic air. We need it in place to link up with the moisture. And that's what's happening today. And that's what could also happen as we get toward the end of the week. Yeah, we have more snow in the forecast. We're talking Friday is our next potentially inconvenient weather day that we're watching. So this is going to be the snow lovers week for cold air as well as for some chances of some of that snow.